Welcome in. It is February 26th. This is the Wednesday crypto live trading and live outlook stream. In today's outlook, we are going to be going over my entire portfolio exposure. I'm not going to talk much about why I've been bearish. I made a whole hour-long video on that 2 days ago. Maybe actually that was yesterday. I made a whole hour-long video yesterday on that, and it was 2 days ago. That's true. Whatever. This is a whole hour-long video. You guys know I've been bearish for 2 months, and finally everything played out. I was correct, but I have a different bias now, and I want to update you guys on how I feel about the markets, what I'm planning to do. You know that most of my portfolio is in cash right now for cryptocurrencies. At least my stock portfolio is not. Let's be transparent. My stock portfolio is not majority cash. I am majority fully invested in stocks and options right now, and to be fair, that's where you should be. I've been speaking on the idea that NASDAQ is bullish. The stock market, traditional finance is bullish, while crypto is not. And most people tether them together, and I didn't think they were, and it worked out. So you're going to get a little bit of insight into where I believe Bitcoin's going, when I think it's going to go there, and then you're going to see my entire exposure, why I believe that these are the ones that you should be exposed to right now, and why I think they're going to outperform, and typically have outperformed after massive catalytic candles or cascading events, especially today, because I think we did have a decent, if we go to coin glass, I think we had a decent amount of liquidations in the last 24 hours. We'll see it in just a second. What a liquidation ratio. Let's go to 24 hours. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, that's a $500 million. That's a $500 million in longs. Holy shit. So most of these liquidations come in the last 4 hours. So 90% of the 24-hour volume is in the last H4 candle, which makes sense because the last H4 candle was fairly violent. So almost 400 million gone. Of course, shorts were liquidated during that period as well. Most of that liquidity is coming from Bitcoin. So I do think we have a big reset. Also, I believe if we go to our funding rate heat map, we should be reset. As far as I'm concerned, we should be reset. Let's see. Even in the last week, funding rates weren't that bad. I don't know how so many people got liquidated, to be honest. I don't know how so many people got liquidated. This funding is not bad. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I mean, absolute degenerates. But nonetheless, looks healthy. From a standpoint of just checking out the funding map, it looks healthy to me. Longs look overheated, but I mean, typically this is not bad at all. So I don't know what happened to everybody. We weren't affected, which is the main part. So let's get started. We're going to start this off by talking about kind of the black swan, which is USDT. So a lot of you will know this, and I've spoke about this for the last 5 years. I'm not some savant when it comes to markets. Of course, I'm correct most of the time, but that doesn't mean that I'm any better than you guys. I only use a few different market engines and different market mechanics to figure out if the market's going to move in a certain direction, and I just want to help you guys learn how to do it yourselves. On December 4th, so also everyone stop chatting and start focusing on the stream. I'll let you guys know when you can start chatting. I want everyone to pay attention because this is some important shit. December 4th, 2024, so this is 2.5 months ago, right? We talked about if USDT dominance hits 3.79%, I will look to risk off a lot of my positions. This is as clear as day. It's if Tether hits this level, I'm going to start selling my positions. There is no other way you could take this sentence. Now, obviously, we can see what happened. It hit this level right here. We hit 3.76 to the lows, and it was lovely. We got to de-risk all of our positions in December. We got another opportunity in January, and then came February, presidential inauguration, and then obviously you know what happened there, a plus 40% move Oh, I'm getting a call. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So this is what we're looking at now. USDT dominance, and this is Tether dominance. The more that Tether moves up on this chart, the larger percentage that total market cap for all of crypto is embedded in stables. And obviously, this is a bearish sentiment because if most people are moving their coin into stabilized assets, that means that they're risk off, means that they're not investing at that period. Meaning, typically, they're selling their assets. If they're selling their assets in an abundance to move the Tether market cap, that means that most prices are going down. So almost all of my bearish sentiment came from this core idea where I said, if we come down and we take this last piece of sell side liquidity all the way down here, let's make it very clear why I thought this. Again, the one thing about Playbit that you won't find anywhere else is I will not overcomplicate in these techniques. You will understand by the end of the stream why I did what I did in December. Sell side discount. This is all I wanted. I said, all of this, none of this mattered to me. All that mattered was the fact that we had to come lower. And this is a bullish period. This is what we were doing during October, September. This is where we went. We're all the way here at the highs of August. We'll pull up the daily. All the way over here at these highs. We said, if by the end of Halloweenish, I don't think it was like 30th of Halloween, and then coming into the presidential election, which is on the 4th, if Tether starts to fall, it hits this sell side liquidity. I can guarantee you that all the rest are hit, which means this low will hit, this low will hit, this low will hit, and then there's one final low, which is the leftover sell side, right? It's the last one in the entire series here. It is the range low, which we put as a sell side discount. If this range low is hit and we do not have any at all displacement to the downside, this is a core indicator that the market is flushing bearish soon. Now, it took some time, of course. Like, I was bearish for a while and people thought I was crazy for a while. It took over 84 days for me to have, like, for you guys to finally believe me, at least. I mean, to be fair, I do think everyone a part of Playbit believed me, but people online, Twitter, influencers thought I was a fucking idiot. They're like, dude, you're just fucking stupid. Like, the bull market's just starting. I'm like, I mean, okay. You do what you got to do with your money. I'm going to sell. And then obviously a sell side discount hits and there's no displacement. As you can see, there's not a single daily candle that falls under this level, giving us the indication that Tether wants to move up. And obviously it fucking moved up. And now we're at this point in time where if we have 4 days left or so on this, if the weekly imbalance does not get over this gap or does not close over this, we can move exceptionally bullish again, right? That would be the whole idea here, is close this gap and we'll actually modify this slightly. That was the weekly gap I was just referring to. We'll reference this one instead. We have 2 hours and 23 minutes. If this gap here fails to close above, I do think we're bullish for the next like 5 weeks. If we close above it, I think that unfortunately you're just heading towards equal highs here, and then you're heading towards range highs, which is bearish. So now that you know this, my entire thesis should be completely clear. Is if we close above this, it doesn't look good again. I mean, we continue to look bad. If we fail to close it and we continue to sweep this level, then we look great. And I think we come back to the downside, maybe around 4.73. And that's when I start to long and inject USDT back into the market and go risk on again. I mean, all I want to do is pretty much buy the fear. And I'm going to define the fear from a technical standpoint on the USD.D chart. And this is where I see it. So moving past this, you guys know my full outlook on this. Moving past this, we now need to talk about Bitcoin dominance, because this is going to tell us where we should put our money. I know that if Tether fails to close above that gap, there's a high probability that the market's going to turn bullish. Well, the question you should ask me is like, hey PB, if the market's going bullish, what the fuck do I buy? Great question. Let me define what you will know how to buy and how you'll know when to buy it, right? When to buy it is when Tether fails to close. What to buy is defining this analysis from Bitcoin dominance. Now, Bitcoin dominance has been bullish for a long time. I mean, I don't really need to tell you how long. It ever since it broke out of this, we've been using this shit since 2021. You can see all my analysis from 2021, 2022, 2023, and then 4 it broke out. It was very easy in 2020 and 2021 for us to trade. All we did, and this was amazing, is if Bitcoin got up to 48%, I sold all my Bitcoin and started buying alts as defined by the text box above. As it came to the lows, I just sold my alts and then bought Bitcoin. And then back into the late portion of 2023, we broke out of this level and just continued, retested, and just went to the highs. So considering this information, Bitcoin dominance is still exceptionally bullish. This means that you should be focusing on Bitcoin. The only time when I think we should not be focusing on Bitcoin dominance is the same thesis behind Tether, is if we do invalidate this gap right here on the daily, I think that you focus on alts instead. And this is when I would say there's like a mini alt bounce coming. So that's perfect. Now I know if Tether dominance does this, I know that I should start being bullish. Now, because I'm bullish, I have to figure out what to buy. If Bitcoin dominance does this, then I know whether to be bullish on Bitcoin or alts. So now I know when and what. Now I'm going to give you the why, and this is going to come into Bitcoin itself. Now, the why behind most of this thesis is embedded in the idea that we have not seen a daily 200 EMA retest since I think Halloween. Early October, so October 11th was like the last time we tested this level. So this is over 140 days since this level's been tested. And for those of you that aren't clear on what this level does and how it's used, most of the time you can just pull it up on your chart and see that when price breaks, it has a parabolic move to the upside. When price retests, it has a decent bounce. When price breaks below, right? Sometimes it'll break below like this. You'll get this fake move, retest back. But the next time, you don't get too many breaks, so there's not many false signals. If it breaks below again, you will fall right into the sell side liquidity at the lows. And again, when I bought Ethereum at the lows, as President Trump got voted in, winning the general election on November 6th, November 4th, we bought here and we saw the break and we just pulled it into buy side liquidity. So at its core, and whatever people have taught you online about like not using indicators, I think is true except for one, and it's the daily 200 EMA. It's the only thing in my trading toolbox that I've kept consistent for over 5 years. Literally, my trading has changed drastically through that period except this, and for good reason. It is the number one indicator in the market to gauge any asset at all, any asset, forex, commodities, stocks, crypto, whatever you want. It will outperform your favorite influencer online alone, and that's why I continually use it. I want it in my toolbox so I can have the benefits of it. And going back to BTC, well, we have our first test in quite some time, and you can see, previously we've had some amazing support from this level. Last time when we broke it at $20,000, Bitcoin came back, retested, undercut, daily inversion, back to the highs, retest, back up to the highs, take the sell side liquidity. All you need to know is that if price breaks below it, typically it's going to hit a range high or range low. Now that I've said that, here comes some pretty outrageous assumptions in the market. So listen close. We are currently in the daily imbalance, undercutting with 2 hours and 18 minutes left the daily EMA. Now, I'm not ready to buy yet. I've already defined when I'll buy using Tether's chart, and I defined what I'll buy with Bitcoin Dominance's chart. Now, the why is I think that this first retest of the daily EMA, maybe it doesn't send us to all-time high. It truly doesn't even need to send us to all-time high. All I want is a bounce in the market to take advantage of to make money. I'm really not here to guess where price is going to go. I'm just here to make money on where probability of price is going to go. If the probability of price moving 5% is the highest probability we have, then I'm just going to trade price up 5%. Now, I need to define what is the probability of the range that we're looking to take. And there's only a few to look at. It's range highs. We have equal high cluster here at 89,000. And to be fair, I think we move slightly higher than that. I do think that we need at this fearful low. I mean, this is technically a fearful low in the market. Everyone's scared. No one wants to buy. I recently had some older people talk to me and text me like, hey, the market's crashing. What do I do? I'm like, man, I've been out of the market for, 2 months, like risked off to the side. I still have small investments, about 40% exposure, but I knew this was coming. At least I had the probability was high. So I'm ready to buy. They're like, do you think I should sell? I'm like, the fact that you think you should sell completely boost my confidence that I should start buying, because I need people like, retail to sell. I need everyone on Coinbase to get scared and sell, and then I'm just going to start buying back their supply. And that's what I suspect happens from this low right here. I suspect that this low is where price bounces, considering the last two assets I told you, Tether dominance and Bitcoin dominance, the when and the where, and this is the why. I have given you a complete breakdown in like less than 10 minutes of exactly why I believe this is my bias. You should have no questions about what my transparency and my bias is. I had someone today in the stream say, oh, you should be more clear in your bias. Does anyone have a question of what my bias has been for 2 months? I want to make sure that when I'm talking about what I think is going to happen, nobody questions me at all. Because if you have to question what my bias is, it means that I'm confusing you. And I do not want to confuse you. You can check my last 15 videos on YouTube, and I talk about everything, like how I sold crypto before the minus 30% crash. I say NQ down, then up, crypto bottom soon. Go watch that video, talk about what I talked about with crypto. 126, bearish on crypto, bullish on NQ. Again, it continues over and over and over. I want to make sure nobody is confused about where I stand at all, because technically that's where the value is here, is for you to understand why I am doing things so you can replicate it and learn from it and use it to your advantage. I didn't get rich off trading because I was confusing people. I got rich off helping people do this consistently in the markets for 5+ years. Go check the logs from 2020. Got you in at the bottom. Had you sold the top, I was off the top in 2020 by like 10K, but we got out anyways. Again, does anyone have a question about my bias? I had 2 people today say, hey, I don't really know what your bias is. And it upsets me because I'm like, it should be absolutely crystal clear. The one thing that upsets me is how some influencers online, some gurus online will cloud your judgment by saying too many complicated terms or increasing the amount of vocabulary they're using in sentences when it's unneeded, just to have you think you have to pay them in order to mystify or demystify the charts. This is simple. This is exceptionally simple. If you have any questions about my bias, ask now, because I want nobody to question. If the market rails 30% tomorrow, I want nobody to have a question at all when I am going to be getting in and out of the markets. Absolutely. And again, I suspect everyone to be watching these streams. I suspect everyone to be reading everything. If you're not reading my channel, if you're not inside, and by the way, like a graduate said this morning, he was confused on bias. Graduate, you said, don't forget to write this off to people who weren't on stream. Graduate, look in the channel right now and look what I said last. Look what I said last. It makes me upset when some people aren't able to benefit from my information when I am quite literally the most clear that a human being can possibly get. And it upsets me because I'm like, I am doing what nobody else in the space is doing. Look what I posted yesterday. Like, how much more clear do I need to be? I can't believe I have questions. I do not know why people continue to question my bias. Look what I posted yesterday. Just so we are clear on my bias, I am no longer full bearish. I am a bull at these lows. Everyone is now getting bearish. Or 2 months late, I will now, but I don't know what else to say. And I had to bring this up because it was extremely upsetting that I physically cannot become more transparent or more clear in my verbiage at all. I have absolutely no idea. And graduate just said, I told you that your recent posts are better. Even the old post. I'm even referencing the ones from December. Everything. And it upsets me because I'm like, I don't know. I literally pride myself on being the most clear in the space. There's too many people that are trying to hide what they think because they can't trade. That's the thing. They cannot trade. They can't trade live in front of you. They can't give you a bias. They can't predict the markets before it happens. So they cloud your judgment. They poison you. And they make you think that you have to pay for their $10,000 course in order to get their information. When in reality, I just did it in 10 minutes. So it looks like no one has a question. But the problem is I don't want anyone... If you have a question, you have to speak up, because if you don't, then you get obviously are adversely affected. All right. So that's the bias. Let's go through it again. Again, I want everyone to completely understand there should be literally zero questions at all. If Tether dominance fails to close the daily above this level, I suspect a small bump in the market to the upside. Now, if you look at Bitcoin dominance, if we close below this fair value gap either today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, the day doesn't matter. The time duration doesn't matter. If it closes below, I suspect alts are the focus. And the why behind all of this is the fact that this is the first time we are seeing this imbalance plus daily 200 undercut happen. It is on a silver platter. It is on a silver platter. There should be no questions. Can you please check USDT dominance in the weekly? Yes, we can. I mean, we already went through this, but on the weekly, I think we are retesting it bearishly. So again, quite the time. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Is I am not a bear anymore. I am not a bear. Please make this clear. Nobody else, and trust me, nobody else in the space is as fucking easy to understand than me. I will say it specifically where your grandma or your 5-year-old brother will understand what I'm saying. I am not a bear anymore. I've been bearish for 2 months. I am bullish. I suspect Tether has a decrease in dominance, meaning risk on assets get inflow, meaning I am going to start buying again. I have 60% of the portfolio to start buying again. Yes, Katie, I was the one in the Tesla telling people to buy maybe at a $5 million market cap, and then it went to $100 million. Yes, that was me. Changed lives forever like I do daily. Again, if there's no questions, we'll continue. All right, looks like we're good. Big Al. Yeah, Big Al, you actually should get some credit there. You did make me go over it. I love it. Okay, so that's it. I am bullish on the market, and I am now continually looking to figure out the alts I want to buy. And this is going to be the second half of the stream is you should ask, if you're bullish, what the fuck are you going to buy? Right? That's the question. Like, what are you going to buy? Like, truly, I mean, I literally tell you guys the right questions to ask, you know? It's like, I know what you guys are thinking, but most of you don't want to speak up. So I'm like, the question you should be asking me next is this. So let's go over it. I know you're asking, what the fuck do we buy if the things you're saying happens? Well, let me put another silver platter. Let me feed you food. Let me feed you and grow your portfolio year after year without you even asking the question. We are looking for ENA, one of the major buys. I mean, it's already a part of the portfolio. This is going to be a huge one. It's up consistently 5-10% on the day. So it's going to be in the portfolio. After this, Morpho. Again, Morpho is quite literally at the same price I bought it before. I bought Morpho around $2. Morpho is currently $2. It's the coin I'm buying. Everything I go through in this list is currently in my portfolio, and I have a full weighted exposure guide. Let me find it real quick, and I'll post it on the screen. Right here. Here we go. This is my full portfolio exposure list right here. Dusk. Okay. Guys, I'll get to your questions about your alts later. Someone keeps asking me, Dusk, EuroQ partnership. What do you think it means? I think it means fucking nothing. Nothing. You guys know how I feel about this. Alts doing partnerships with these fucking projects means nothing. Like, look, let me fucking... Look, I mean, nothing fucking happened. They fucking had a partnership and what? They're fucking still down 90% from all-time high. Like, the fuck? Peaky, you should know this. You've been here long enough. You know those things mean nothing. Anyways, here's the exposure list. And it's already, it's in the, go look at the pin messages. We're going to go through the whole thing anyways. TRX, one of probably the strongest assets in the recent bull run. I mean, it had a singular daily candle of almost 100% on a multi-billion-dollar asset. So yes, I believe in TRX long-term. We have multiple daily EMA taps. I'm in profit on this one by a little bit. I don't know how much, but I'm in profit on this one, and I'll continue to buy TRX. BNB, another great one. I mean, who wants to fade Binance or CZ? It is undercutting the daily EMA at the moment, so I don't know if I'm going to rebuy it, but I still have the exposure. Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid is the one that I bought recently. So this is the one I bought yesterday. Hyperliquid was purchased for one reason and one sole reason only. Look at this. Hype undercut all of its sell side lows right there. Undercut all of them and then immediately swept, moved to the upside. So a 5% allocation of the portfolio has been moved to Hyperliquid. Trump coin, I've been investing in Trump for a long time, in the 20s. So I'm still massively bullish on Trump coin. I don't know if it's going to be a meme forever. I don't know if it's going to have utility. It doesn't matter to me. It's the fucking leader of the free world. At the end of the day, my taxes are completely covered with his Trump policies, so I'm going to invest in his asset. We had a massive pump, a 65% pump like 5 days ago, and the whole thing got crushed. So I'm going to continue to hold this one for 4 years. Hopefully he does something with the coin. It's a major speculative asset, probably the most speculative asset in the list, but nonetheless, I cannot fade this one. Sui, probably the easiest buy. So if you are looking for something to buy, this is going to be one of the easier ones just because you're getting a utility token that has probably the most modern on-chain mechanics. And you took all sell-side liquidity recently. So yes, I think Sui's probably an easier buy out of the group. Ondo, probably one of the worst ones of the group just because it's undercut the daily and continues to drag towards the sell-side low. So this one I will not be rebuying. I have a 2% portfolio allocation to this right now, and I will not be adding more to it. Pancake Swap. This is from the utility token standpoint. This goes in favor of BNB and Tron and Hyperliquid and Sui. Pancake Swap is for the BNB asset network. This is just a derivative of it. I'm looking to buy more cake soon. I think that BNB is not over, and I think that CZ has done such a good project, has had such a good time with BNB projects, and considering the amount of appreciation versus depreciation ratios in bear markets for BNB, I think any of its subsidiary assets like cake stand the test of time as well. So I'll be looking to add cake again soon. Bitcoin. For obvious reasons, this will probably be one of the larger portfolio allocations I have. I know I said that if Bitcoin dominance closes below that daily EMA, that I want to buy alts, but at the same time, it doesn't reverse the same concept that Bitcoin is down over 15%. I mean, a lot of you were praying to buy Bitcoin at 80K when we were seeing at 110. So you have a 25% discount. Yes, that's enough for me to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin will probably make up. I will probably invest 10% more portfolio allocation, giving myself a 20% weight in Bitcoin if we get confirmation of these lows. After that is Uniswap. I sold Uniswap already, so we sold this somewhere around February 15th up here. So, and it's down. Good sell. It's down 21% since then. So Uniswap will not be added to the portfolio. Sol, this is probably the one people question the most, what they should be doing with Sol. I sold half of my Sol allocation after the EMA break here, which was like 170-ish. And from there, we've dropped almost 30%. So a fantastic sell. I'm still exposed to Sol. Still, I still have a 2% allocation. However, I'm not looking to re-add anything until, and I'm sorry to say this, look, people hate when I say this shit, but I think Sol under 100 is a perfect time for me to rebuy. I'm sorry. I know it sucks. You know, Sol dropping, 67% is probably not good if you're a, major bag holder. But again, I'm here to not make money. I'm here to make money, not tend to your feelings. So if you're upset that I'm bearish on Sol, I'm sorry, but I'm literally just here to make money. I do not give a fuck about your feelings of your coins going up. The problem is a lot of you have too much hopium with your coins, and especially like XRP maxis, is you fucking held the bag. You held the bag for fucking, 1,000 days with no appreciation, and then you cheer on the singular 1 month outperformance, and you only made like a 3x. You waited 1,000 days for a 3x. Like, what are we cheering for here? You guys love the coin so much that you're willing to waste 4 fucking years of potential for a singular month of movement. Doesn't make sense to me, but I understand that it's because a lot of people, unfortunately, believe in something too hard. And yes, believing too hard can 100% hurt you. ETH. Now, I do think that ETH has a very similar schematic to Sol. I've been saying I don't want to buy ETH yet. A lot of you were like, wow, this bounce from the low looks really good. And you could have made money if you got it. I mean, you could have made it a quick 31%, but I wasn't a buyer. I am a buyer on Ethereum below 2,100. So that's what I'm doing. I am buying below 2,100 on ETH. And then we have Ohm. This one currently isn't in the portfolio. We sold it a while back. But gee, look what you're able to get with Ohm. It's amazing. You literally wait for a 16% dip in Ohm and buy. 16% dip in Ohm and I mean, look at the dip right now. I don't know how long this is going to last, by the way. This is literally like a money... like this, like look, 21% dip. I can pretty much guarantee you, considering the probability metrics, you can buy Ohm right now and have like a 90% chance at profiting just by buying it now. It's a money glitch. I've been talking about this one for a while. You can literally just buy the 13 to 20% dip and then just sell on the next rip, which averages, I don't know, sell on the next 20% rip. So sell a 20% dip and then, or buy a 20% dip, sell a 20% rip. Free money. I've proven it for too long. I've literally talked about it for too long. So whether you're taking advantage of it or not my problem. Someone said, do you recommend buying these coins on 2-3x? No, you just buy them on spot. If you want to go to 2 or 3x levered, fine. That's your choice. I hope you don't get liquidated. Remember, if you understand your risk profile with leverage, go ahead and buy it on leverage. But I'm not going to sit here and walk you through exactly how you're supposed to position yourself on leverage. If you don't understand it yet, please don't touch it because you're going to hurt yourself extremely badly. So that's the whole altcoin list. I don't think there's any altcoins outside this list that I really want right now. I think I would want something in the DeFi markets. So like I've been looking at Maker quite a bit. Maker is a heavy outperformer, especially right now. So Maker would be one that I would add to the list to watch. This one's also, I mean, you're breaking the daily EMA right now, which is, I think, rare and the only asset in the entire market to do this at the moment. Litecoin. Also, Litecoin's an interesting one. I've seen a lot of you guys talk about this. Litecoin's still above the daily 200, which is exceptionally impressive to me. And then all of these previous blue chips are dead. Tia's dead. I don't own this one. LPT, Troy, Zen, dead. I mean, we can go through the whole list and I can just completely show you how fucked 90% of the market is and why 90% of the market isn't what you want to be buying. I mean, Atom's dead, Band's dead, APT, HFT, BSW, ACH ain't bad, but this one does look quite manipulated. I mean, geez, this one's fucked, actually. Dot dead, Dash, Pawn, Combo, CRV, TWT. So I do want to get DeFi exposure because I think it comes back. I just don't know when that time's going to be. So for the moment, the only one I like is, well, to be frank, the strongest one in the market, which is Maker. So I'm actually going to add Maker to my... Let's do Maker and Litecoin to the two new additions. These two will be ones that we will hold the nearest exposure in. And they're both... Litecoin's up 10% on the day. Litecoin's interesting. I did not expect such strength from it, but when the market shows strength like this, we need to pay attention. Wow, and it's a retest. Oh my god, I mean, this is a beautiful... I mean, this is a QP right here. You took low sell side, no displace, H4 inversion, H4 gap retake, obvious equal highs above. I mean, who would have thought that Litecoin actually would show this much strength in the market? Who would have thought? I like this one a lot, actually. Very much so, respecting the weekly EMA. I like that. Let's watch this one. This might be the next buy I actually make. Can you please talk about the maybe announce? What maybe announce? Again, how many times have we talked about this with maybe? Every time I give you guys announcements before I do them, you guys fucking sell them to me. So you guys don't get shit. You guys literally don't get any pre-announcement ever again. You guys have ruined it for yourselves. We still got to talk about Katie. It's almost like you didn't listen. We talked about Ondo. Ondo is actually the worst one. I specifically said, you can watch back the recording. I'm recording right now. Ondo's the worst one. Ondo is undertaking the daily. It's failing to it's front running the gap now. I am not adding to Ondo. There's no add to Ondo. It's probably one of the ones I'm actually looking to sell. It's a very underperforming RWA asset. Someone said, what makes you interested in buying these specific coins? Is it based off technicals or fundamentals? 90% of my analysis is always technical related. Fundamentals will never tell you when to buy something. Fundamentals are actually events to be sold. I mean, think about it. For anything in any market, a fundamental event is public information, right? Which if the whole public has this, they're going to generally have a bias one way or the other. Considering that information, that's a lot of liquidity to be manipulated. And the goal of a technical trader is to manipulate liquidity. Literally defined by this measure, technical traders are looking to manipulate those using fundamentals. Most fundamental traders make money, but it takes them 3-4 years to make the same amount of profit we're doing in a singular 6-month session. So no, I do not give a fuck about fundamentals. I have never given a fuck about fundamentals, and I will never use fundamentals as a reason to short-term trade anything. There's a reason why most crypto fundamental analysts are not around anymore. There's like over 5 fundamental analysts from the 2021 to 2023 bull run that are just obsolete. They are just not involved in crypto anymore. It's because they underperformed. They didn't make money. And yes, you can make money as a fundamental analyst, but at its core, there is almost no benefit. Yes, I'm going to choose specific coins and specific niches. Like I said, I want DeFi coins. Like I said, that I have some RWA assets. Like I said, there's some coins I want based off of their fundamental realm, their utility, etc. Just because I believe money's going to flow there. However, just because I believe money's going to flow somewhere doesn't mean that the chart's also speaking volumes to me, right? Like I think RWA is a massive field, but a lot of the RWA assets have terrible charts, which means if 90% of my engagement upon buying or selling something is technicals, if I don't think the chart's correct, but the fundamentals are, I will not touch it. What about whiff? No whiff. No whiff, no bonk, no dog. All right. My boy is outside right now. So I got to end the stream and fucking go outside and help this guy, but I'm going to be back in like 10, 20 minutes. So